The news of a patient waking from an eternal slumber shocks everyone. Doctors wanted Jinwoo's mother to stay in the hospital so they could study what happened, but Jinwoo wanted to take her home as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Jin-ah bursts into tears and hugs her mother tightly, while Jinwoo stands in a corner, thinking that all his efforts and everything he endured were worth it. Yet he still can't shake a sense of uneasiness. After taking his mother home, Jinwoo receives a call from Go Gun-hee, the chairman of the Hunters Association. Knowing it must be important since the chairman is calling directly, Jinwoo heads to the association immediately. Gun-hee informs Jinwoo about their plan to raid and eliminate the ants on Jeju Island and asks for Jinwoo's help. Before Jinwoo can respond, he senses a surge of magical energy nearby and tells Gun-hee that hunters are fighting. The chairman laughs, saying the S-rank hunters are warming up for the Jeju raid in 4 days, and escorts Jinwoo to the training room. Jinwoo and Gun-hee watch the S-rank spar from the upper floor. Goto Ryuji notices Jinwoo and asks his translator about him. She tells him that it's Sung Jinwoo, the newest S-rank hunter in South Korea. Seeing the Korean hunters, the translator remarks that they are the best South Korea has, but they are pretty lousy. A man steps up and confronts her, revealing he learned Japanese in high school. She asks who he is, and he introduces himself as Park Jong-soo, the A-rank guildmaster of the Knights Guild. A heated discussion leads her to challenge Jong-soo to a fight with the rule that the first to grab the other's wrist wins. They take their positions, but Jong-soo keeps his hands in his pockets. The translator mocks him, but he calmly says he will only need his hands to grab her wrist. She charges at him, but Jong-soo easily kicks her away. Angered, she leaps at him with full force, but he grabs her wrist, saying, "You're too slow, lady." Seeing the fight, Goto requests a spar between the S-rank hunters under the same rule. After seeing Jinwoo's strength firsthand, Goto wanted a one-on-one spar with Jinwoo. Jinwoo was eager to test his strength after the Demon Castle, and the two of them faced each other. Before the fight, Goto tells Jinwoo there's an S-rank healer present so he can go all out. As Jinwoo readies himself, Goto attacks immediately, but Jinwoo dodges it effortlessly. Seeing his attack fail, Goto gets frustrated and decides to kill Jinwoo. Jinwoo notices a system notification and catches Goto's hand, realizing he might get an emergency quest if things go too far. Instead of ending the match right there, Jinwoo decides to have some fun, thinking, where's the thrill in that? But Cha Hai-in and Baek Yoon-ho step in to stop Jinwoo, while Minoru and Kei throw up an ice shield around Goto, bringing an end to the fight. As the practice wraps up, Jinwoo reflects on the strength of S-rank hunters like Goto, Cha Hai-in, Baek Yoon-ho, and Gun-hee, noting none have sensed his hidden shadow soldiers. He then inquires about the Jeju raid as Hanakawa calls out to a shocked Goto. The S-ranks agree to a spar, adding some extra conditions for winning, such as touching the opponent's back or knocking them down to win, and making it a 4-on-4 team battle. The fight kicks off, and the training hall gets trashed in seconds. Seeing the destruction, Gun-hee says that the training facility has been fortified with the greatest magic gems, yet the S-ranks have already made quite a mess in just a few seconds. Atsushi, a Japanese hunter, tries to sneak attack Baek Yoon-ho, but chickens out at the last minute. Baek feels his intent and thinks, is this guy smart or just scared? That's when Baek suspects Goto might be using him to test them. Meanwhile, the Korean hunters are getting smoked. Dong-woo's down and another's captured, and now it's Baek versus 3 Japanese hunters. Cha Hai-in wants to help but gets stopped by Kumamoto, who goes berserk, attacking everyone in sight. He trips Cha, but before he can stomp her, Jinwoo swoops in, pins Kumamoto to the ground, and saves the day. Jinwoo, his mother, and Jin-ah return to their apartment, and Jinwoo is not too happy to see the mess Jin-ah made while he was gone. Their mother, who's been out of the loop for 4 years, suggests they all should clean up together. As they began tidying up the place, she asked Jinwoo if there was any news about their missing father, to which Jinwoo replied that there wasn't. She reveals she's hesitant to move out of the old apartment, hoping one day her husband might return. Later, Jinwoo gets a call from Jin-ho, inviting him to check out their new guild office. Jin-ho insists that a big office is essential for their expanding guild, and mentions a foreigner who's looking for Jin. While they were in the middle of talking, Jinwoo took off, swapping places with one of his shadow soilders. In the next moment, we see a man harassing a woman, but Jinwoo appears behind him and saves the lady, telling the man to turn himself in before midnight if he wants to live. Meanwhile, we learn that Jinwoo is not participating in the Jeju raid, and the rest of the hunters have left for the raid. S-rank hunters are flying towards Jeju Island, while the support staff and other hunters are already deployed there. To make this raid successful, every hunter, active or otherwise, regardless of their rank, has gathered near the southern coast of Korea to prevent any surviving ants from attacking the mainland. Each defense force is led by a B-rank hunter, supported by C-rank and D-rank hunters. The chairman was feeling confident about their chances chances, and even allowed the raid to be broadcast live on TV. As they fly, a cameraman introduces himself to the S-rank hunters. Dai questions the risky decision, but Dong-wook reminds them that it's their duty to protect people, though he warns the cameraman that his safety isn't guaranteed, to which cameraman, an A-rank hunter, assures them he's used to danger. In the helicopter, Beck gets surprised to see Byung-gu participating in the raid, to which he replies, teasing Beck that he came to ensure Beck wouldn't die first on the battlefield since he pounces every time he sees a beast. Dong-wook announces the start of the raid as they prepare to face the island's horrors. The Jeju Island raid has begun. Korean hunter Choi Jong-in leads the attack, creating a flame wall to block the ants from escaping the tunnel. Meanwhile, Jinwoo finishes his daily 10-kilometer run, and while he was wrapping up, he noticed the unusual emptiness around the park. He guesses that the Jeju Island raid must have started, but he trusts the hunter's skills and sees no point in watching. Inside the cave, the Korean team encounters even more evolved species of ants, seeing an empty lair and only eggs laying around. Byung-gu questions if the queen is really there, but Beck reassures him that the ants wouldn't flee. Meanwhile, Team Charlie has defeated the nearby ants, but Kenzo is wounded. In the process, Akari offers to heal Kenzo on one condition, but before she can act, ants suddenly appear and decapitate her. In an instant, 3 other S-rank hunters are taken out. Kenzo yells in desperation, realizing the creature is close by, but he too loses his head. The battle inside the dungeon reaches its climax as the hunters confront the queen's royal guards. Dong-wook acknowledges the challenge, but is relieved that there aren't many guards. Byung-gu reassures the team while reminding them not to get sloppy and to keep their guard up, as even decapitated ants can live for 10 minutes. Seeing that they are closing the queen's chamber, there will be stronger ants ahead. Byung-gu heals and buffs everyone, doing everything he can, so the hunters are ready to face off against the queen. Meanwhile, outside of the dungeon, Team Delta is checking on Team Charlie because they have lost communication with them. Upon reaching the location, they find signs of battle, but there are only ant corpses around. That's when they discover Fujishima's corpse. But before they can understand what's going on, an unknown creature attacks them from the shadows. In the tunnel, hunters have found the queen. Seeing their enemy in front of them, Beck and Choi decided not to hold back anymore. The battle on Jeju Island rages on as hunters have defeated half of the royal guards. And to take care of the rest, Cha Hai-in uses provoking quake to distract the remaining guards, buying time for the S-rank tanker to reach the queen. The live broadcast of the raid has captured the nation's attention, with viewership hitting record highs as people eagerly watch the elite hunters tackle the S-rank gate. Meanwhile, in the cave, hunters have taken out all the royal guards, and now it's only them and the queen. All of them attack the queen at once, but the queen retaliates with acid, burning the hunters. But before it can deal any real damage, Byung-gu heals them in an instant. Queen knows she has to take out Byung-gu to put an end to this fight, but Dong-wook takes her hit, giving Beck and Choi enough time to show why they are Korea's top hunters. He wraps up the fight with his flames and combusts them, causing a massive explosion. In her last moment, Queen let out a cry, and the monstrous abomination that had previously attacked the Japanese hunters appeared right before them. After the Queen Ant's defeat, the hunters now face an even greater threat. A monstrous being blocks their path. Just its mere presence strikes fear into everyone. Cha Hae collapses from the creature's overwhelming presence as it walks past the hunters towards the fallen body of the queen, and as it reaches the queen's head, it emits a screech that leaves the hunters reeling. The monstrous ant immediately goes on the offensive, targeting Cha Hae-in first. It punches her so hard that she slams into the wall, seeing that she is about to get killed. Dong-wook confronts the ant directly, but he is no match for him. The ant effortlessly shatters his shield and tears off one of his arms with ease. Dong-wook tries to fight back with his remaining arm, but is quickly disarmed, quite literally. The ant then moves to Beck, slashing him mercilessly and leaving him incapacitated, but they cling to hope, believing that as long as Byung-gu is still in the fight, they have a chance. Byung-gu had been healing everyone while hiding with his camouflage skill, but the monster saw right past it and gave him a one-way ticket to the Donut Club. The hunter's last hope, Byung-gu meets a grim fate. Byung-gu, in his final moments, desperately tells hunters to run before the ant finishes them off too. Enraged by his friend's death, Beck leaps at the beast but gets caught by the throat. The monster then consumes Byung-gu right in front of Beck and mocks him in his late friend's voice. It asks about their king before sensing something outside and abruptly flying out of the tunnel. Beck seizes this chance to escape the dungeon with his team. Meanwhile, the Alpha team, led by Goto, investigates the loss of communication with the Charlie and Delta teams. Upon reaching the site, they discover the dead bodies of his fallen teammates, fights. Goto senses something monstrous coming towards him, so he asks his team to fall back, as they will just be in his way. But before they could do so, the monster decapitated Ashita right in front of him and asked him if he is the king. Goto, in his arrogance, declares himself the king. Meanwhile, Choi Jong-in and Baek Yoon-ho are struggling to escape the dungeon, and just as they lost hope, a black knight emerges from Baek's shadow. Seeing the S-rank hunters getting annihilated like flies, the cameraman braces himself for death. In his last moment, he regrets not talking with his father more. Just as the ants are about to kill him, Ygriss' sword comes flying, taking out the ants. Meanwhile, at the broadcasting station, they cut the live stream, not wanting the world to know that one ant took down 8 S-ranks. But when an anonymous figure appears and changes the tide of battle, they go live again. Jin Woo appears in the cave and summons his entire shadow army to battle the ants. Iron and Ygriss make quick work of the ants, while Tusk guards the hunters with his barrier. Dong-wook wonders who is fighting now, but Baek reassures him, saying they are in the right hands. While Jin Woo hands out potions to the hunters, the monstrous ant returns, declaring that the man outside wasn't the king, and asking if there is anyone else they call the king. Baek wonders if the ant killed Goto Ryuji. Jin Woo leaves Cha Hai-in in Dong-wook's care. Jin Woo calmly steps forward. Jin Woo is face to face with the ant. Seeing Jin Woo, the ant comments, "You've got a terrifying aura, human," and lets out a high-pitched screech. Jin Woo calmly responds, "Now you're acting more like a bug." The scene shifts to 5 minutes earlier. In South Korea, the broadcast is still off air. The news of Byung-goo's death shocks the nation. When the broadcast resumes, they see Jin Woo fighting the monstrous ant. Chairman Go Gun-hee, seeing Jin Woo join the fight, gets so excited that he breaks his chair. Jin Woo is fighting the thing head-on without holding back. Jin Woo takes a strong punch from the monster. The ant disappointedly said, "You are not the king either." But before it could finish, the dust cleared and Jin Woo was standing there unmoved, which shocked everyone. Before the thing could do anything, Jin Woo used his commander's touch skill and punched the ant, bringing it to its knees, before sending it off, flying to the wall. Jin Woo, seeing the thing survive the blow, seems irritated. As the fight between Jin Woo and the ant rages, both of them punch each other simultaneously, causing a shockwave that makes a mess of the cave. After getting slammed to the wall, the ant, in disbelief, mutters, "Impossible! He cracked my exoskeleton!" Just then, Jin Woo appeared in front of him, delivering another powerful punch. Not being able to see his future waifu in pain, Jin Woo wants to end the fight quickly. However, the ant slices Jin Woo's cheek with its tongue, poisoning him. The pain spreads through Jin Woo's body as the monster taunts, "You seem to be having trouble, human." It launches its claws at Jin Woo, but Jin Woo grabs its wrist and slams it into the wall again. As Jin Woo gets up unscathed by poison, we learn that Jin Woo has the ability to read emotions. The monster was happy when Jin Woo was down, but now feels nervous after seeing his poison fail. Realizing it can't win in a battle of strength, the ant sheds extra weight, hoping to overwhelm Jin Woo with speed. It launches a high-speed attack, but Jin Woo counters easily, making the ant even more anxious. Seeing nothing working against Jin Woo, the ant decided to summon his army. After being overpowered by Jin Woo in every way possible, the Ant King thought he had a chance of overwhelming Jin Woo with numbers as he summoned thousands of ant soilders. Jin Woo laughs at his naivete and commands his army to come forth. The clash was brutal, with Ygriss, Tank, and Iron leading the charge and swiftly cutting through the ants. Jin Woo then summons Tusk. Tusk transforms into a giant and unleashes the hymn of the fire dragon, blasting through the mountain and leaving the hunters in awe. Tai Yu is shocked by Jin Woo's power, while Dong-wook compares Tusk to a devil. Ant King sees itself bested by a mere human question about how he thinks to himself. "I was born to be the king. I had the ability to grow stronger, so how is he stronger than me?" Seeing Jin Woo approach him, he wanted to flee. He tried his best, but Jin Woo wasn't going to let him. As he attempts to flee, Jin Woo slams him to the ground, mutilating his already beat-down body and then finally finishing it off. At that moment, Baek Yoon-ho calls out to Jin Woo, pointing to the severely injured Cha-hai. With no other choice, Jin Woo decides to summon Byung-gu as a shadow. Jin Woo calls forth the S-rank healer, Byung-gu, leaving everyone in question about what his true powers are. Byung-gu's shadow immediately heals Cha-hai, without any command showcasing his inherent kindness. Jin Woo comments on Byung-gu's warmth, and Baek, with his hand on Jin Woo's shoulder, asks him not to force Byung-gu into battles as he dislikes killing. Jin Woo acknowledges the request and cancels Byung-gu's extraction, allowing him to cross over to the other side in peace. The raid comes to an end, and the hunters head to the helicopter, but Jin Woo decides to stay behind, telling Baek there are still things he needs to take care of. Jin Woo summons Kaisel to clear a path for the helicopter. Jin Woo went back inside the cave and decided to put an end to the ant chapter. He takes out the eggs with the help of the Demon King's longsword that was lying around in his inventory. Jin Woo had leveled up quite a lot now that he was at level 100. Only one thing was left. Jinwoo says, "Arise," to summon the Ant King as a shadow. Now a general kneels before him. Jinwoo summons the Ant King as a shadow, but is shocked by its rank. Jinwoo, thinking to himself, Igris, his strongest shadow, has only elite knight rank, but Ant King surpasses that, leading Jinwoo to suspect the next rank is general. As Jinwoo prepares to summon the Ant Queen, he hears a voice from the Ant King's shadow asking for a name. Surprised by this, Jinwoo asks how the shadow can speak, and the Ant King explains that it's always been capable of speech because the only difference between Baru and others was his rank. This makes Jinwoo wonder if others will be able to speak once they level up. He names the Ant King Baru, and then turns to summon the Ant Queen. However, summoning the Queen causes a strange reaction. Jinwoo notices that it weakens his bond with the other ant shadows. Concerned, he asks Baru what's happening. Baru explains that the Queen naturally controls the ants, causing them to gravitate toward her leadership. Jinwoo cancels the summons, deciding he doesn't need 2 commanders in his army. Afterward, Jinwoo asks Baru how many enemies remain. Baru estimates 4,000 ants are left. Not wanting to drag out the battle, Jinwoo asks Baru if he can handle the rest. The ant extermination mission drags on for 2 days as the surviving ants flee to mainland China. Determined to eradicate every last one, the Chinese government deploys their top hunter, Liu Zhigang. Liu easily wipes out the fleeing ants, but finds the task boring, wishing he could have faced the powerful ant that Jinwoo had battled. On the 3rd night of the Jeju Island raid, the Hunter Association sends hunters and a cleanup squad to collect mana stones from the dungeon. As they arrive, they encounter a few remaining ants and quickly take care of them. However, during the fight, 2 mysterious figures emerge from the shadows, speaking in an unknown language. When the hunters demand to know who they are, one figure simply snaps his fingers, causing the hunters to pass out instantly. The beast-like figure then questions the blue-skinned one about what he's doing, but the blue one dismisses it, saying he doesn't want to cause a commotion. After assessing the situation, the blue figure states that the hunt will continue as planned. As he opens a gate to leave, another monster says, "One of them is here. Should we take care of it?" The blue one